we are upgrading our makeup routine. My goal with this tutorial was to take a style that I love to do, but upgrade the technique a little bit. Time's going on, our skin is maturing. I'm finding all these different ways now to keep my base looking refreshed and healthy, hydrated. I've got a lot of tips in this video for how to maintain a youthful base with your foundation, concealer, and this eye look is so easy, and I used all cream products. For any makeup at any age, skin prep is the most important step, but especially as your skin matures, you really wanna make sure you have a hydrated, moisturized base to start with. This is the duo that I use to prep my skin. I actually tried a primer on top of this when I was testing this look out, and it just looked so patchy and weird. This is perfect for me. This is my essence from my brand Monday Born. It's called Source. It is deeply, deeply hydrating. It's a nice milky formula, so it sinks right in. I call it a drink of water for skin. I'm actually coming off of some hormonal breakouts right now too, so I really want to make sure my skin looks healthy and hydrated before I apply. I'm following with the 7. This is now our best-selling product. It's everyone's favorite moisturizer, and I totally get why. It's like an instant pick-me-up for skin. As soon as I apply this to my skin in the morning, all of a sudden my skin looks awake, refreshed. I put it on my eyes too because it has a lot of healthy aging properties. So now my skin looks and feels nice and supple and hydrated. Now we're ready for makeup. For my foundation, I'm using the shade in Illuminate by Tom Ford. This is a pricier option, but I love to use this for special occasions. It's just a really nice finish, lightweight, still has that, it's not too dewy, but it's dewy enough that it still looks like skin. So I'm gonna apply this to the back of my hand, but I'm also gonna mix in a little illuminating cream from Say. Just a little bit of this. And like I said, the foundation itself is already pretty dewy to begin with, but I'm just adding a little bit more and kind of thinning it out a bit more. So I'm gonna take this duo fiber brush by Smashbox, which sadly they no longer sell. I'm on like a campaign now to get them to bring these brushes back because they are the absolute best. So I'm just stippling this across and buffing it into my skin. And I normally would use a beauty blender for something like this too, but because it's a pricier foundation, the sponge tends to suck up a lot of the product. So you can see I'm doing a combination of stippling. So the stippling is gonna really cover. If you have any spot with breakouts that you wanna make sure are well covered, make sure you're stippling over that area. Otherwise, you can just buff it like this in a circular motion. I'm also just recovering from a cold, so I've been blowing my nose a lot, and I have no dryness or flaking around my nose like I normally do because of the skincare, because I hydrated and moisturized so well. So for a variety of reasons, you really just want to make sure that your skin is well prepped before you apply makeup. Oh my gosh, this is so much better with that primer I used. It was so bad. It was like patchy. It was this one. I didn't like it at all. I like their other products, did not like that primer. So even with a full glam look, I insist on a glowy, lightweight base. Just because you're doing a smoky eye doesn't mean that you have to do this super matte, super chiseled look on your base. All right, we're good. So now I'm gonna move on to concealer. So for concealer, I might hit it with a double step, and I'll tell you why. So this is by Haus Labs. It's a really good concealer, I like it. I'm using the color 23. So with this, I'm just gonna apply right here to the inner part and the outer corner of my eye. This is also by Haus Labs. So what I'm gonna do with this before I go in and blend this out is I'm gonna take a setting spray and spray it so that it's a little bit wet. And what this is gonna do is, it's just gonna give it a more natural finish with the hydration of that setting spray that I used. It's just gonna spread better, and it's gonna be more lightweight once it's done. Like I said, really nice concealer. I love how it performs, but this little step of spraying it with a hydrating setting spray, this one is by Dominique Cosmetics. Really, really love this one. It's a very fine mist. That's just gonna give me like I said, a more natural finish once I'm done blending it out. And just lightweight. That's the goal, is keeping this as lightweight as possible no matter how many products I layer on. So I'm loving how this looks. I do want to brighten a little bit more, so I'm going to go in with a second step. This is by Milk. It's their Sunshine Under Eye Tint and Brighten, and it really brightens. The color is 2, the one that I'm using. So I'm going to push a little bit of product up, and a little bit goes a long, long way with this. There we go. So I'm just going to dot this like 2 spots under my eyes. That might even be a little too much, because like I said, a little bit goes a long, long way with this. This really brightens. And I'm not usually like a super bright under eye area kind of girl, but it looks really pretty. Again, I'm gonna take this and spray so it's nice and dewy, and then go in and just blend this out. So we really get that contrast of the bright under eye. And again, look, I've got now 3 products on my skin, the foundation and 2 concealers. But because of the way I applied everything, it doesn't look heavy at all. It still looks very dewy, very healthy. I'll give you a close-up of the skin once I'm done with the base. But I can't get enough of this technique. I've been loving it. Start to blend it out, really focusing on brightening this entire area under my eyes and not just directly under the eyes. So the first one was a little bit more of a tannish concealer. Has a little bit of that golden tone to it to cover any darkness. And then this one is just all about brightening. So just to give you a close-up look of the under eye area, like I said, 3 products on, and it still looks really healthy. It doesn't look cakey. There's no creasing happening. And I've tested this throughout the day. Super, super, very, very minimal creasing happening. Very just like natural after 8 hours having makeup on. But this, you can just see it's skin. There's movement. There's glow. This is like my favorite base routine that I've ever done. So now moving into a little bit of contour. You're gonna laugh. This is the same product, the concealer, but I'm using a deeper shade, and I added like a grayish brown eyeshadow into it. I'm on the hunt. I can't find a good, cooler toned contouring product. Everything is too warm for contouring. So I made my own, and it's nice. You'll see it's nice and cool. Sometimes, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Do you see how cool that is? It almost has like a purplish tone to it. Because that's what you want for the shadows that you're creating on your face. Then for the warmth, you want something warmer, obviously. I'm really, really intentional about where I place my contour. Do you see just like a little bit here? And then going back with the same brush that I used to apply my foundation, I'm just gonna go in and blend this out. I don't do too much contouring on my forehead, just kind of narrowing it out a little bit. This area right here, really important. Starting at the hairline and just kind of bringing it down toward the corner of the mouth. And always blend a contour upward. Don't ever blend it downward. This right here, the point of this is to lengthen that masseter area. So just go down, just you can do sweeping motions up and down. You always want to lengthen this, because I think as we age, this also shortens and becomes less defined. And then of course, the notorious jawline, which is not quite as defined after 15 pounds of weight gain. Other side, same thing. And now for my blush, I'm also using a cream product. This is by Laura Mercier. This is their tinted moisturizer blush. One of the best products I've tried last year. I love this. Their tinted moisturizer is a great product, and they made a tinted moisturizer blush, which I think was genius on their part. So I'm just gonna squeeze out 2 little dots here. It's such a beautiful product, very sheer, blendable, great colors. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush here and then just start blending out. Very, very easy to blend. This is, like I said, one of the best blush products, and it's buildable. That's the best part. Is usually I really like my blush very sheer, so I could just keep it like that and stay sheer, or I can build on it and add a little bit more, which usually people want to do, especially with a more glam look. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more, a little higher. And then again, it's like a 2-second blend job, so fast. So now going into powder. I actually partnered with Givenchy for this launch in April of 2023, and ever since I've been using it. I love this powder, and you know how I feel about powders. I'm very critical of powders, but this one is great. So there's 4 different shades in there, very, you know, they're not super different colors. They just add a little bit of something. So I'm just gonna tap the product into there. So I'm gonna take the poof that comes in the package, and I'm just gonna pick up some product and kind of load it up. And just kind of like unload it a little bit on the back of my hand so it's not so intense. And then with this, I'm just gonna go into the inner corner and outer corner of my eye, under eye, just to set the concealer. I don't wanna do much with powder because I don't need it. And especially for maturing skin, you really just don't want to load up on powder. It's gonna accentuate all the fine lines, it's gonna settle and crease. And then finally, one more thing that I wanna do is I wanna add a little bit of bronze. This is by Guerlain, and I absolutely love it. A lot of why I love it is because it smells so nice, but also it's beautiful. Big fluffy brush here, and I'm just gonna, it's almost like a finisher. I'm just gonna add a little bit of warmth to the perimeter. And since I have this great setting spray with me, I'm gonna spray some microfine mist. Seriously, such a good setting spray, I love this. And there we have a medium coverage makeup look, contoured, highlighted, everything, but still looking really fresh and still looking like skin. It's not super matte, it's not like two-dimensional, still has a lot of movement, a lot of dimension. So the base that I'll be building around for my eyes is this by Smashbox. It's a cream shadow and the color is called Amber. It's the perfect medium for my complexion, like a medium brown tone, almost like terracotta. I love cream shadows. I've always been a fan of cream shadows. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit to my hand, and using this flat brush, I'm just gonna pick some of that up and just start at the center of my lid and then go into the inner and outer corners and then start to build upward. Just building upward and blending. And actually, let's go into the bottom as well. This is Cocoa by Laura Mercier. You've seen me use this a lot. It's a really, really good product, the Caviar stick. I'm gonna apply this directly first, and then use that same flat brush to blend out. So we're gonna do like an ombre, just very carefully blending this upward. And making sure not to go past this angle from the outer corner of your eye to the tail of your eyebrow. You don't want to go past that. Otherwise it's going to drag your eye downward. But do you see how this is developing into just like a really clean, smoky look? And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just do a smear of the product at your lash line and then begin blending out and up. Don't go too far into the inner corner because then you're gonna create the illusion of your eyes being closer together, unless you want to create that look. But everything with this look, I just want to be very hazy, blended, No lines, very effortless. So let's start with this Espresso Brown eyeliner. So this is gonna stay real close to the lash line. And I'm gonna kind of create that, that wingy look. And then using a smudge brush, I'm just gonna blend it in with cocoa. So this way, I'm starting to develop a nice little flick, a nice little wing, close to the lash line. Get that little flick going, and then using the smudge brush. This is why I really like to use cream products from start to finish, because the blend is just easier altogether. Why don't we just jump into the black liner? So this is Tuxedo, and this I'm gonna keep just super close to the lash line. This is almost turning out to be like a smoky or a smudged liner look. And then I'm going to also smudge that lightly, not too much. Because we want to keep that black present. We want it to be nice and dark. And I'm going to go into the inner part as well to really get that definition. As I expected, I am going back to cocoa because I want a little bit more dimension here. So I'm gonna add this to the outer corner because I really did like that look of the lid being more smoky and then blending upward. I am gonna take that Espresso Brown eyeliner again and just give the bottom lash line a little bit of smoke. Not too much. And one thing you want to remember, if you're ever applying color to the bottom lash line, make sure that you're concentrating the darkness in this inner part of your eye and not at the outer part, because if you add a bunch of darkness down here, it's gonna drag your eye downward. That's the same reason we don't put a bunch of darkness in the inner corner, is it's gonna kind of create the illusion of your eyes being closer together. So we wanna add most of the darkness here or all the way across, not so much into the inner part. And then you wanna add it down here if you're adding color to the bottom, and then just kind of fade it out toward the outer part. I'm gonna keep it there. I really don't wanna add much to it because then I have the kind of face where if you add too much makeup, it gets over the top. And some people have a much softer face to begin with, so when you put a bunch of makeup and go full glam, it looks pretty. But on me, it's a little much. So I'm gonna move straight into mascara. This seems like it would be sponsored Laura Mercier. It's not. I use a lot of their products. I really like their eye products. So I'm just gonna use their Caviar Volume Mascara. I want this look to be really focused on the softness of the smoky eye and the brows. So I'm actually gonna move right into brows, and I'm gonna do 2 steps. I haven't filled in my brows in a really long time, but I'm really loving this product by Linda Hallberg. This is a double-ended. One end is a pencil, the other end is a pen, which I really enjoy. This creates really nice, natural, very fine, hair-like strokes. So I'm gonna take that and going from the top, I'm just gonna start hashing out some brow hairs. So this is kind of just mimicking what a natural brow would look like. Not a lot, I'm not doing too much. So something else that really maintains a youthful look with makeup is fuller eyebrows. All right, I think I'm okay with that. I don't want to go, like I said, too far with it. But what's really gonna set these brows and make them look perfect is, where is it? One of my favorite products from last year, the Dominique Cosmetics Brow Blowout. Oh, I cannot get enough of this brow gel. I've tried a lot of brow gels, and this one is just perfect. It immediately laminates my brows. And the thing with this is, you know, a lot of brow products that are like a wax that claim to laminate your brows, they do the job, but they get super, super flaky by the end of the day. Even in a couple of hours, they get very, very flaky. So you've got all these white flakes in your brows. It's not a good look. But this one, maybe like a tiny, tiny bit, but hardly anything. It does not flake like that. It's just been this, I want to say, is my favorite beauty product of 2023. Truly. So good. Fuller brows for the win, always. Now going into the lips, I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm using the Lady Bold lip liner from Too Faced in Fierce Vibes only. This is like a brownish nude that I'm going to use just to contour my lips a little bit. I don't want to apply so much liner. I really want it to stay soft as well. So I didn't do too much, just a little bit of contouring with the lips. And then to finish off, this is by Tom Ford. It's a gloss called Aura. Pink is a perfect finisher to pair with this brown eye look. All right, so that is it. Letting the hair free. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's just a very youthful and fresh way to do a glam look. Glam doesn't have to mean caking on, baking, all that stuff. You can if you want, but if you're really focused on maintaining that dewiness, that healthy look in your skin especially, this is the routine for you. I hope you love this look as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one.